Hello everyone, this is Jake from Down the Weeble Hole, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. Welcome to the Junji Ito Book Club, a series of videos that are going to look at maybe every single Junji Ito story ever. And I'm just going to discuss them off the cuff, and I hope you join me in reading all of Ito's works and coming to these discussions. What I want to do is read out your comments during these discussions, and we'll just go over them all and see what kind of theories and ideas you have about these stories, because these are very fun stories to look at and analyze. And the first series of stories I want to look at is the Tomie series. I've made a Tomie video before and I really like the series, but I would like to go back and maybe dive deeper into it and actually look at everything as a whole. This gives an excuse for some of you who want to read Tomie to finally do it. We'll only be doing one chapter a week, so it's very manageable. And I know, especially for me, getting older, I don't have much time to read. There's lots of things in life to do, and reading is very fulfilling, but it takes up a lot of time. That's why I'm going to limit these videos to just one story, maybe a week, maybe every 2-3 weeks. It matters how this video does, and I can determine whether I want to make this a weekly series. But right now, I'm probably going to do it when there's no One Piece chapters out, and then I'll do this video instead of the One Piece chapter. But if this does really well and people like it, then it could become a weekly thing. But there's tons of Junji Ito stories out there. Most of them I haven't even read yet, so there's a lot of content here. If you have not read Tomie, the original one, the original story, I would do that now. You could buy the book. There's a whole collection of Tomie stories, and there's other ways to find manga online, So I'm sure you'll be able to find a way to read it, but be sure to read it. But let's just dive into the first Tomie story. And at first, when I was thinking about returning to the first Tomie, I remember it being not that scary. The art's pretty mediocre for Junji Ito, especially since I believe this is his first story that he drew, which is pretty impressive because it's much better than anything I could draw. And rereading it right now, it turned out to be a lot scarier and a lot gruesomer than I remember. Because if you've read Tomie before, you know the stories get more and more outlandish and gruesome and disgusting and crazy. But this one seems pretty tame compared to all the other ones. But it still has some good horror elements that I really enjoy. The story's interesting as it takes place after the events. So the story opens up with Tomie being dead. Everyone's having a funeral for her, and everyone's a bit on edge. And people believe Tomie has been massacred because a bunch of her body parts are found all over the city. So they believe there's some maniac out there. So the school is worried about that, and Tomie returns, which is pretty creepy. If I was a student and I thought my classmate died, and they came in the next day, I'd be shocked. And I do like this one panel of this one guy. When Tomie comes back, you see this guy wearing sunglasses, or they look like sunglasses, and you see the reflection of Tomie's silhouette. Love this panel, so good. And the teacher's stance when Tomie's in the doorway cracks me up. This is early Junji Ito art, because everyone looks pretty goofy. The story continues, and we see that Tomie pretty much has a good hold over men. We see this one guy who's really into Tomie. He looks really creepy. He looks like a zombie himself. And then Tomie goes and talks to her teacher, and the teacher thinks that it's just her twin sister or something, which seems like you're trying to make something implausible plausible. But things don't look very good for this guy, because when they find the teacher, he's lost his mind. I don't remember this part about them losing their mind after being with new Tomie. So I'm going to get back to this later on, but it was definitely, I don't remember this part. So we then get to see the, main character protagonist of this story, which is Reiko, and she's walking on a bridge with Tomie, and she's getting freaked out because she's remembering something awful that she did or took part in. And she runs away from Tomie, and then she runs into Tomie's boyfriend, Yamamoto, and Raiko's freaking out. She's saying, I can't take it anymore. And we then have the flashback and why everyone's freaking out and so on edge because of Tomie's return. And it turns out they were on a class trip, the entire class, and Tomie is flirting with the teacher, and we find out that Tomie was having intercourse with the teacher, and her boyfriend is not happy about this. He starts having an argument with Tomie in front of the teacher and all the other students, and they're like on this type of cliff, and she trips, falls, and is supposedly dead. And everyone kind of hates Tomie, it seems. Everyone decides that it's better if we just hide the body instead of reporting it, and they'd rather make sure that Tomie's boyfriend doesn't go to jail because they like him a lot more. And this is when things get really gruesome. I wasn't expecting to get this unnerved reading it a second time, but it is really disgusting. All the guys get undressed and they take out hacksaws and other utensils, and they're starting to chop up Tomie's body so they can like hide her body parts. And Tomie is alive, and they like stab her and suffocate her, and it's super gruesome. And I wasn't expecting this much detail this early on. It's horrifying. It's actually pretty horrifying because this could happen. This right now is something that could happen in reality. There's no like supernatural element right now. This is just straight up murder, you know? So everyone decides to take one body part each, and they're gonna hide them. And Reiko drops her body part off a bridge. That's why she was like super tripped out when Tomie was looking over the bridge. Like she knew that Reiko threw her body part into the water right there. Then we return back to present time, and Reiko and Tomie's boyfriend are running away. So then the other classmates find out that Reiko and Yamamoto are like freaking out. So they're going to go stop them from like reporting everyone to the police. So when the other classmates finally get a hold of Reiko and Yamamoto, we have this hilarious scene of this one of the students, the guy with the glasses. I think he was the cool guy with the sunglasses. He like does this insane pose holding a knife and tries to like stab Reiko and Yamamoto. Not with that posture, so ridiculous. And Reiko and Yamamoto run away, and they run into Tomie, and the other students come after everyone else too, and they run into Tomie as well, and they all run away. And then Reiko runs away, and Yamamoto is stuck with Tomie on his own, and they said his mind was gone when they found him. It seems in this story that Tomie is at least getting some kind of revenge against those who've like wronged her, because especially in this story, it doesn't feel like Tomie is like, spoilers for those who don't know or who haven't read the rest of the Tomie series, but Tomie's kind of like demonic. And she doesn't really, you don't really see her in a good light. But I feel like this story, she's probably the most innocent as like a bystander. Yeah, she was having an affair with her teacher, but I don't think that's the worst thing Tomie's ever done. And it's pretty tame compared to the other stuff. I don't know. I don't think she... I actually like that she has some sort of revenge against these men, or at least these two men. And then the story ends with Reiko moving to a new town by the ocean. She discovers a package, or the wrapper of a package. And it was the wrapper that enclosed the body part that she had. And she goes into she's on the beach, and she goes into this small cavern. And one of the coolest things, I really love this end panel to leave you with just mysteries in your head, and you see a Tomie growing out of the ocean from the body part. So great ending. I actually forgot that this ending was for this story, so that's awesome. I thought this was actually the second story. So a lot happened in this one shot, and I'm really happy that Junji got recognition for this story. It's actually really good, because you have some supernatural elements, but you also have this real closer to home horror with just a murdering of a classmate. And I think it's a great first story in the entire collection for sure. Sure, the art is a bit lacking, and Junji definitely gets better as these stories go on, but I will say that I'm pretty impressed with the reread that I just had today. Let me know what you think about the story in the comments below. For the new readers, what do you think of Tomie? What do you think she is? Do you think she's like a ghost trying to get like revenge against people? There's a lot of theories about what Tomie is, and we never really learn what she exactly is. And that's kind of the fun for Tomie for me. He's like trying to theorize what kind of like demonic entity she actually is. But let me know what you thought about this first story. Rereaders, let me know what you thought about rereading it. Did you enjoy it more this time, or did you think it was lacking? What do you think about its placement in the entire story, the entire collection? As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you want to talk to me directly about Junji Ito stories, Tomie, Uzumaki, or any other anime, you can come join the Discord and I'll come talk to you. And I want to give a special shout out to Jackal Bees, who made this amazing Tomie drawing that you've been looking at for the past who knows how many minutes. And I also want to give out a shout out to Gailey, who drew a Junji Ito inspired Weeby-chan, which you'll see soon. So take care everyone, and let me know what you think about this book club, and if you would like to see more videos.